Get ready to hear the truth about America on a show that's not immune to the facts with your host, Dan Bongino.
So today's the day. This could be one of the biggest days in modern American history. The jury pretty soon will be deliberating. By the time you're listening to this, we may already have a verdict. But we are live right now at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to do I have the screen on right here. I am monitoring everything. Folks, it's really sad and horrendous that we've arrived at the point in American history where a former president, soon to be next president, which is likely, is sitting on trial for a crime even legal experts can't seem to articulate in a Democrat city, in a Democrat state, with a Democrat AG and a Democrat ADA in front of a Democrat judge with a Democrat activist daughter who both donate or make money from Democrats. It's shocking. It's shocking, but here we are. And I'm going to say to start the show, and I'll probably end it the same way, no matter what happens today, Donald Trump wins. Because there's a right side of right, and we're on the right side of it. I got a lot to get to today. And also, folks, just tomorrow's show could be very special. I don't want to say anything yet because I just want to be sure everything goes down. But if you're a regular P1 watcher of the show, you can probably figure it out. Hey, for 10 years, Patriot Mobile has been America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When I say only, trust me, they're the only one. Patriot Mobile is a proud supporter of the show. I love partnering with them. Patriot Mobile offers dependable nationwide coverage, giving you the ability to access all three major networks. It means you get the same coverage you've been accustomed to without funding the left. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you're supporting a company that believes in free speech, religious freedom, the sanctity of life, the Second Amendment, and our military, veteran, and first responder heroes. Their 100% U.S.-based customer service team makes switching easy. Keep your number, keep your phone, or upgrade. The team will help you find the best plan for your needs. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. Get a free month when you use the offer code Dan. Join me. Make that switch today. patriotmobile.com/Dan. That's patriotmobile.com/Dan or call 972-PATRIOT. All right, man, let's get this party started. So, folks, again, today's the day. This thing should be at minimum, if justice is served, it should be a full acquittal because there's no crime. It should have been a directed verdict from the bench. The Donald Trump New York trial, there has not been a crime articulated. Forget about beyond a reasonable doubt that every element of a crime has been met. No crime has even been articulated yet. We already know that. This case is a disgrace to the legal system. It's an embarrassment to the country. It is a scar on our Constitution. If there is a conviction today, this should go, and read Mark Levin's tweet on this, this should go right to the Supreme Court for due process violations. They shouldn't even pass go. This should go right to the Supreme Court. Donald Trump has clearly been subjected to Star Chamber, quote, justice, and the Constitution's had nothing to do with this because they haven't given him due process. They are yet to articulate a crime. The judge has been an absolute nightmare. And having been involved with the legal system in my prior line of work for a good portion of my adult life, I'm not sure a lot of liberal and Democrat lunatics really understand what's happening here. Folks, every single element of every crime charged has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Do people understand what a reasonable doubt means? Now, very rare for me to put a CNN clip and say I agree, but I agree with this legal analyst on CNN. He's a lawyer. This is very important you understand this. He's discussing reasonable doubt for every element and what exactly that means. If any juror has even a shred of reasonable doubt on any of those charges, that specific charge, you cannot convict. Trump is innocent until proven guilty, not guilty till proven innocent. Listen to this explanation because it pains me to tell you it's CNN, but this guy's absolutely right. Take a look.
What Michael's getting at is the burden of proof is an important one to remind everyone. It's on the prosecution, right? They need to prove beyond reasonable doubt that Donald Trump broke the law. And you think, after listening to all of this, you think they fell short. How?
They fell way short because let's start with reasonable doubt. What is reasonable doubt? And it's not simply a doubt based upon reason. Anytime a human being needs to make an important decision in life, if you have enough information, for example, doctor says you need open heart surgery. Doc, go ahead and schedule. I don't have a reasonable doubt. Conversely, if I say, I appreciate it, but I need a second opinion, I need more information, that is having a reasonable doubt. There is
He's absolutely 100% correct, folks. This is not a legal system where your guilt is pre-established and you have to prove innocence. Trump has to do nothing at this trial. The government's obligation is to prove every element. Here's what I mean. Say there are 6 or 7 charges and they each have elements to meet the crime. I'll give you an example. Say, for instance, it's a financial crime, a check kiting scheme. They have to show that you mailed in a check knowing that the check was, in fact, not going to be covered by the balance, and that you did it, in that case, to run up a balance on the credit card again, and that you did it with a specific intent. There's a mental element to the crime. In some cases, there's a physical element to the crime. All of those elements have to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. The problem they have in this case, ladies and gentlemen, is they have yet to articulate a crime. The closing last night, which was obscene. You want to talk about a filibuster? The Twinkies prosecution trying to close out the trial with a multiple-hour filibuster. The only purpose to doing that was to confuse the jury so they went to bed with some fairy tale about what Donald Trump did. But when you listen to what they said, they basically made it up. Mixing and matching New York state law with federal elections law, they never articulated a crime. This is yet to happen. Now, I get all that. The jury's being instructed now. We're following this. I hope they come back right away. I think we could probably expect, I would love an acquittal. I don't think that's going to happen. It's a New York jury. I don't think there's any chance of that, to be honest with you. I think a hung jury is probably our best hope. But supposedly there's one juror. I don't know how true this is. I've seen various reporting on it. One juror who seems sympathetic to the constitutional legal case that this is an abomination. Reading juries is really hard. Listen, I can tell you from experience, sometimes you see someone and you think they're responding positively, but they're not. I wouldn't put too much into that. However, there are 2 lawyers on this jury. You got to hope and pray that they understand the legal ramifications of what they're about to do if they're going to convict a man of a crime that was never even alleged. Now, here's the problem. Here's what's happening now going forward, outside of the constitutional ramifications of this abomination. I think the Biden team, Colangelo, who's working with Twinkies, he's one of the prosecutors on this New York case against Trump, who came from the Biden DOJ because they're all working together. I think now they know they could be in trouble. I'm guessing they may be on to this one juror or 2 who sees the constitutional angle and knows there's nothing there. Here's what I'm worried about. Folks, they're now trying to openly intimidate both the jury and openly intimidate the Supreme Court if there's a conviction from potentially pulling this case as quickly as they can on a due process violation. They're trying to intimidate both. I always bring receipts. Here's some of the evidence here. I want you to listen to this first. This case closed with a big turkey last night. Everybody knows that the closing arguments were a disaster. They were putting the jury to sleep. Here's Caroline Leavitt. She's one of Donald Trump's spokespeople. Very good. She's talking about how Twinkies showed up yesterday in the court. Alvin Bragg showed up in the court yesterday. Folks, this is straight up jury intimidation right here. Twinkies is there for one reason and one reason only. He's letting every one of those people know, just like the Biden team and little Bobby D that showed up yesterday, we're all watching. We're all watching. And if you're the guy who doesn't vote to convict or the woman, we're coming after you. This is straight up jury intimidation. Listen to Caroline Leavitt call it out. Check this out.
What you just heard from is a desperate and failing and pathetic campaign who knows that they are losing. Joe Biden's sending his campaign outside of this criminal courthouse. It is a full-blown concession that this trial is a witch hunt that comes from the top, comes from Joe Biden, and he is using a far-left district attorney in this city, Alvin Bragg. This case would have been laughed out of any other courtroom in America. Legal scholars on both sides of the aisle, even liberal legal scholars, agree there is no crime, there is no case. But Joe Biden knew he could use Alvin Bragg, who is sitting in that courthouse today, day wasting away the tax dollars of the hardworking people of this city to go after Joe Biden's political opposition.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you see the shift here? I don't want to do yesterday's show over again because that would be boring and stupid. You can watch yesterday's show. But just a quick summation. In yesterday's show, I made the assertion, which I'm going to make again today and back it up to you, that they've shifted their messaging, Team Biden, Team Bragg, Team Fani Willis, Team Tyrant Communist. They were going to focus on the economy to try to win the election in Bidenomics. It's totally failed. They're now all in on the police state. Their message now appears to be, you're either with us or you're against us. We are going to do anything in our power to stop Donald Trump. And if you're not with us, we're coming for you too. Why else would they do a press conference yesterday in front of the courthouse after a year of trying to avoid this case publicly, at least? Why? Ask yourself these questions. Nothing they do is by accident. Listen to me, amigos. Nothing they do is by accident. They did that shit yesterday on purpose. They are all in on intimidation right here. It backfired beautifully in the De Niro thing. The De Niro little Bobby D thing was a total debacle. In case you missed it yesterday, you really think this is good optics? How bad does this look when you've got an elitist Hollywood snob who hasn't made a good movie in 20 years walking out of a car outside with an N95 respirator on? COVID's not even at nearly the thing it was a year ago. Even when it was stupid to wear a mask, no less wear a mask outside. And then he gets into a fight with Trump supporters on the way out. This was just peak stupid because the Biden team doesn't know what else to do. This is the only thing they've got. Watch this.
You are gangsters. You are gangsters. You're washed up. Fuck you. You're a little punk. You're a softie. You're a nobody.
Now, I want you to watch this clip too. People forgot this. This guy has been a lunatic forever. He's destroyed his career. He's waded knee deep, waist deep, neck deep into the anti-Trump pool. He's turned off probably 50% of his audience. He acts like a total lunatic. Here he is again projecting. He was on the Bill Maher show a while back. Here he is projecting here. This is the guy who wants to go through extra constitutional means in a star chamber to put Trump in jail, claiming somehow that Trump is the tyrant, and if Trump wins, he's going to come after people like De Niro. It's not De Niro sitting in a freaking courtroom. It's Donald Trump. These people are full of shit. Watch this.
If he wins the election, you won't be on the show anymore. He'll come looking for me. There'll be things that happen that none of us can imagine. That's what happens in that kind of a dictatorship, which is what he says. Let's believe him. Take him at his word.
Folks, this isn't the days of like Cary Grant where people they thought these Hollywood people had superhuman powers, okay? Everybody just wants to see a movie and have you shut your mouth. Nobody listens to what Hollywood celebrities have to say anymore when it comes to political advice. Avita just brought this up. Like, this is Biden's base now. A bunch of probably close to billionaire Hollywood elitist snobs who haven't eaten in a McDonald's in probably 25 years. They have no idea what they're talking about. You see the projection here? It's Trump in a courtroom in New York. It's not Bob De Niro. Listen to what that CNN legal analyst said before, folks. This case is an embarrassment. They haven't even alleged a crime. Reasonable doubt. There's more than reasonable doubt. They've never alleged anything. This case is such an illegal abomination that I've got to believe that the layers of reversible error, to quote John Turley, are everywhere. Between the legal instructions, the jury selection process, the way that Judge Merchan allowed a bunch of irrelevant testimony, including Stormy Daniels and all her nonsensical BS on the stand that had nothing to do with the trial. But this thing should be pulled into the Supreme Court immediately on due process violations. However, Turley, who again is no big Trump guy, he's talked about this yesterday on Fox towards the end of the day as this abomination of a case started to wrap up. I want you to listen very specifically here. He mentions layers of reversible error. In other words, things that can be overturned on appeal. And also the campaign violations portion of this. It is really important because there are none. The FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, has never alleged election violations or federal crimes on this front. Listen to this.
Is going to want to be heard at length. I believe that there are layers of reversible error in this case. And what is often the case is you see judges committing errors like this, and then they try to sort of do a Charlie Brown with the football motion, and at the last minute put in an instruction to clean it up. I don't think they can clean it up here. So what Mershon is suggesting is I'll instruct the jury on all of the references to campaign violations. I think that's coming really too late. This jury has been told over and over again, from opening argument to Pecker to Michael Cohen to the prosecutors, the judge has allowed them to say there were election violations. I'm quite convinced that that
Folks, here's my worry here. We talk turkey with each other here. I hope that's why you're here, man. I don't think any of this stuff matters. I discuss it because I care about the Constitution. I care about due process. I care about the law, and I believe in this country. Look at that. I'm having a hard time with this. Because so many of you have given so much for this great country. Cops, military folks, or firemen, first responders, and just, people who show up to work every day. I don't think any of this matters. I think there are people on that jury who know what Jonathan Turley just said is accurate, that there is no legal principle being applied to this case that would justify what's happening to Donald Trump. Folks, I'm sorry to tell you, I don't think it matters. I have been watching with my eyeballs glued to multiple cable news channels for the last basically 6-7 hours and all night yesterday, picking this case apart piece by piece. And I've got to tell you, I don't think any of this matters. The judge at this point could give the greatest jury instructions ever that would benefit the Trump team. I don't think it matters. This is the problem. We are at such a dangerous point in this country where this is the opposite of jury nullification. It's juries not nullifying. It's juries taking on X-Men-like superpowers to use their star chambers to put people in jail they don't like. It pains me to tell you this, but I don't think any of this matters anymore. I think there is a damn good chance that they will convict this guy, and it doesn't matter what they say or what they do or what legal remedies. They don't care. They will do anything to intimidate them. Now, they're not just trying to intimidate the jury right now. The press conference yesterday, Twinkies, Alvin Bragg showing up. This was not an accident. I know you know that. You all are listeners to the show. I know you fully understand that nothing the Democrats do is by accident. There was also a very, very interesting thing that happened with Karine Jean-Pierre yesterday. Also, CBS asked an interesting question too. I'm going to take a quick break and I'm going to get back to this. But these are straight up intimidation tactics. And I'm really stunned. Again, I don't say this I'm really shocked no one else is picking up on this. They're trying to intimidate the jury because they've got that sinking feeling that there's just one person that's going to force a hung jury on this. Folks, it's time for you to be awake, not woke. Is it ever? Start your day with a hot America First cup of Blackout coffee like I do. Blackout Coffee is an active supporter of hardworking Americans who see their work as their duty. I love the coffee. Love the owner of the company. This guy, John's a really good guy. He absolutely loves this country. He is not even remotely shy about it. He loves two things, his country and he loves coffee. They take care of their customers more than any coffee company out there. Blackout Coffee uses only premium grade coffee beans. Someone asked in the chat this morning, if you scroll back, what coffee does Dan drink? It's Blackout. A lot of people don't even know what premium coffee tastes like because a lot of those woke mega corporations use garbage beans, not Blackout. I'm proud to personally recommend them. They use top-notch beans. Skip those long lines at the store and order online. The folks at Blackout Coffee ship within 48 hours of roasting. The taste is incredible, bold, never bitter. Do me a flavor. Do me a flavor. Talk about a great Freudian slip. Do me a flavor. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino. Check out their cinnamon French toast flavor and see what I'm talking about. It's amazing. They're the real deal. It's time to quit drinking woke corporate junk coffee every morning. Go to blackoutcoffee.com/Bongino or use coupon code Bongino for 20% off your first order. Stuff's amazing. You're going to love it. Make the switch to Blackout Coffee. We really appreciate it. Check them out. All right, back to the show. Folks, the jury intimidation has gotten crazy here. It's gotten nuts. And I want you to see how the mainstream media that wants to see Trump in prison is now softening people up to the idea of what this is going to look like. Now, I had said to you before that the Secret Service has all of the authority under 18 U.S.C. 1752, Title 18 of the United States Code 1752. Please don't take my word for it. You're going to get a lot of Wikipedia lawyers who don't know what the hell they're talking about. They're embarrassing losers. Just go look it up yourself. I love when they go, I'm a lawyer, as if you can't read the law yourself and you're some kind of moron. Read what it says. I put it up on the show many times. It gives the Secret Service the authority to basically declare what we would call a federally protected area. The Secret Service can come in and has the federal authority to say, we are protecting, say the person is Ren. That's all I got, Ren, from Ren and Stimpy. Hello, Ren. Ren is your protectee, okay? They can declare this area around Ren, the protectee, they can declare it a federally protected area. Now, Ren goes into a local IHOP, and the IHOP manager says, yeah, Mr. Protectee, Mr. President, come on in. The Secret Service gets to say who comes into that restaurant. Now, you can ask us to leave and we'll leave, but if you're there and allowing us to be there, we kind of own it, not financially, but we own the space and you don't. You don't like it, ask us to leave and we'll leave, but we're not giving up the security. The problem, if they put Trump in prison, is that we don't have the choice to leave. Now, here's what I'm worried about. CBS News has this article. What happens if Trump is convicted in New York? No one can really say. Folks, I'm a little nervous about this. Again, being absolutely candid with you, the Secret Service director right now is an absolute train wreck. Kim Cheadle is a total disaster. I'm convinced she is the director. She is a Biden acolyte. I know she knows about she has details of this cocaine thing that are not being let out at the White House. I don't know what she's up to over there, but prioritizing protection of Donald Trump, and I'm not sure that's at the top of her list right now. She got absolutely rolled on the Mar-a-Lago raid where the FBI had, as I've proven now over and over, zero business whatsoever being in Mar-a-Lago on a basically unannounced raid when you look at the timeline of notifications with firearms. They had no business being there, and the Secret Service got rolled. I'm telling you right now, and I'm breaking this on the show on good authority, that this woman is not going to put up a fight to anything. They put Donald Trump in a dangerous situation. Listen to what I'm telling you. The Secret Service has every bit of authority to stop it. And I'm telling you, they won't. They won't. The director is weak, and Donald Trump could find himself in a really, really dangerous situation. CBS News is not kidding with this headline. For as much as it pains me to throw this stuff up, again, what happens if Trump is convicted in New York? No one really can say. They're right. I can tell you what a director with nerve and guts would do. A director with guts would shut down that entire wing of the prison and say, you guys want to take this thing all the way up to the court, I'm going to do it. But you decided to put him in there, and we're not losing a protectee on my watch. And we have the authority to do it. And then they can say, well, we have the authority. Okay, let the courts figure it out. She's not going to do it. The Secret Service director, if God forbid Donald Trump is jailed, is going to get rolled, dog walked. I'm telling you right now, and this guy is going to be in potentially a lot of danger. This is who you're dealing with here. You're dealing with maniacs on the DOJ side, on the Twinkie side of this thing. They're not going to stop until this guy is in prison or hurt or worse. They're not going to stop. Now they're into jury intimidation. Twinkies is in the court. Karine Jean-Pierre's asked a simple question yesterday. Simple question. Of course, a Biden spokeswoman, worst one in United States history. Never seen anything like her before, but with the lack of talent here. Asked a simple question, and this is deliberate. Hey, what about this whole packing the Supreme Court thing? Let's listen to it. And then you tell me, questions are better than assertions. You tell me after you listen to this, why do you think the reporter and Karine Jean-Pierre are engaging in this volley about packing the Supreme Court, knowing what's happening right now to Donald Trump in court? Just stew on this for a minute. Check this out.
Given the makeup of this court and other controversial rulings that this president has condemned, does the president have faith in this court? Does he have faith in the court? And would he consider publicly supporting what some Democrats are calling for, which is reform of the Supreme Court, whether that be expansion of membership or term limits?
So look, I don't have any announcement to make at this time on your question about reform.
So she can't just let this thing take down. We're not doing that. We're not going to talk about packing the Supreme Court. That's ridiculous. Why would this be their position in the past? And up till now, they still haven't changed anything. Why would you see Dick Durbin and White House? Why would you see them all pushing and pressuring the Supreme Court? Why right now the push to get Sam Alito to recuse himself from a case based on some ridiculous thing about a flag in front of his house that is the biggest non-controversy of all time? Ladies and gentlemen, why are they doing this now? Chat? Anyone know? Yes. Who said it? Nancy S. Qasi. Sorry, Nancy, I'm saying, yes, they're planting seeds. Exactly, Nancy. Can I call you Nance? 100%. They're saying to the Supreme Court now, if we convict Trump on this magic trial up in New York with no crime, and you come and rescue him on due process, man, hell hath no fury. We will do everything in our power to destroy the Supreme Court. Packing, reform, whatever euphemism you want to use. Those questions are not an accident. And of course, the press chimes right in. Oh, Dan, I think you're giving the press too much credit. No, folks. Everything they do is intentional. Everything. Here's Ken Vogel on Twitter. If Trump gets a hung jury mistrial because of one juror, Resistance Twitter is going to turn that person into Steve Bartman on steroids. Wasn't Bartman, Justin, is that the Chicago Cubs guy? Do you guys remember? He was I think he was the guy with the foul ball. I'm not really sure. However, the implication here is real. The implication is, hey, man, jury people, you better pay attention. You see how the media ties into all this? It is, but thank you. I see I'm not that crazy. So once in a while, I get these things right when it comes to sports. This is what they're doing. This isn't an accident, folks. Nothing these people do is by accident. You are going to see the intimidation over the next few hours. Watch this show. Stay tuned to my radio show after this. Make sure you stay tuned for tomorrow's show. I'm really hoping, I just don't want to say anything yet. I'm not trying to be a jerk with the tease. I just don't want to embarrass myself and say X is going to happen. It doesn't, because there's a lot of variables in play, if you know what I mean. A lot of juggling. Okay, I don't want to drop one. But stay tuned to tomorrow's show too. And this one, we're on this. We're live right now. Jury instructions have now concluded. The judges now said they'll work until 4:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if they don't have a verdict by 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, then they'll come back tomorrow. My guess is the judge is probably going to keep him in there until he's going to send him back until he gets the verdict he wants, which is a unanimous guilty verdict, which would be absolutely insane. All right, let me take a quick break, and I want to get back to some resolution on that Ohio situation, which is serious. Biden may be kicked off the ballot. And another important segment with an election coming up. Folks, have you ever considered what happens when liberals are victims of liberalism? You would think they would wake up and say, my gosh, I'm a victim of my own policy. Policy X, I'm going to wake up and smell the dog, whatever. No, they just keep doubling down. I've got a couple of stories that are going to be real Clockwork Orange eye-openers about what happens when liberals are victims of liberalism, and they just pretend nothing happened at all. Last break, folks, MyPillow. You know Mike Lindell and MyPillow. They no longer have the support of their box stores or shopping channels the way they used to. They've been part of this ridiculous cancel culture, so they want to pass the savings directly on to you. They're having a $25 extravaganza. When Mike started MyPillow, it was just a problem solution, one product company. Well, since then, with the help of his dedicated employees, they now have hundreds of products, some you may not even know about. To get the word out, they're having a $25 extravaganza. 2-pack multi-use MyPillows, it's $25. MyPillow sandals, $25. There's 6-pack towel sets, $25. Brand new 4-pack dish towels, you guessed it, just $25. For the first time ever, the premium MyPillows with all new Giza fabric, any size, any loft level, even king size, just $25. This amazing offer won't last long, so order now. Just go to MyPillow.com or call 800-637-4982 and use promo code Dan. When you do, you'll get free shipping on orders over $75. Thanks, MyPillow. We really appreciate it. And Omaha Steaks, folks, with Father's Day right around the corner, what do you give to the man who has everything? You give him an experience he'll never forget. Give him Omaha Steaks. The Father's Day experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to put a smile on the big guy's face this summer with hand-selected gift packages starting at just $89. Just go to omahasteaks.com, use promo code Bongino at checkout for an additional discount when you shop gourmet gift packages for Father's Day. The steaks and the food are delicious. The possibilities are endless, endless flavor, endless variety, and endless value. Truly, they perfected more than just steak. Your dad's guaranteed to love every bite. Pick from premium proteins like juicy pork chops, air-chilled, delicious chicken, and beefy burgers. He loves those bad boys. Go to omahasteaks.com and use promo code Bongino to get an exclusive savings. Shop for unforgettable gifts that are guaranteed to make Dad's Day special. Because if there's one thing Omaha Steaks knows, it's dads want steak. That's omahasteaks.com, promo code Bongino. Promo code Bongino at checkout to save on exclusive packages starting at just $89. Thanks, Omaha Steaks. We appreciate it. So, quick update on what's happening on Ohio. We should not rescue the freaking Democrats. The dumbass Democrats in Ohio are about to miss the filing deadline to get Joe Biden on the ballot in Ohio because they were too stupid to schedule their convention at the right time. Not our problem. They've got Trump sitting in court right now on a fake charge attacking democracy. We're not here to save you, idiots. So more proof that the Democrats fix your own problem. Democrats apparently are going to virtually nominate Biden now ahead of the convention so they don't miss the Ohio ballot deadline. Fine. Fix your own issues, dumbasses. You see the Republicans? Let these dopes figure it out themselves. It's not our freaking problem. They've got our presidential nominee, former president, potentially next one, sitting in an icebox courtroom on a bunch of fake Star Chamber trials, and a bunch of Republicans in Ohio are sitting around figuring out ways to save these people. Not all. To the good Republicans in Ohio who told these guys, the Democrats, to go pound sand, God bless what you're doing. Let them figure it out. It's not our problem. I'm on verdict watch now, folks. The jury's now deliberating. They should be back. The jury's been deliberating for about 5 minutes. They should already be back. I'm serious. I mean, Justin's laughing. I'm not even kidding. They should walk right back in the courtroom and go, Your Honor, we're not even sure why we're here. We haven't even heard a crime yet. So on those grounds, not guilty on all charges because we haven't heard anything. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. The hell are they deliberating on? I'll be on verdict watch for the next 4 hours. By the way, if you want to watch the verdict with me, if it comes in today on the radio, a lot of you asked about the radio show. This is the channel here. This is my Rumble page you're watching right now, rumble.com/Bongino. Right when this show ends, you'll see below, it'll say live in all caps radio. Just click on that. You can watch me for the next 3 hours as well on radio. We had a whole boatload of people stayed yesterday. You can raid the channel afterwards. Just click join. At the end of the show, we put a little join button and you go right to that next channel. Okay. The third hour, however, is available only to people who are local subscribers. You got to download the Locals app and subscribe. Just the third hour of the radio show. First two are free. It's a long story, folks. I promise. This is things I can do, and I did my best. I promise you. Folks, when liberals are victims of liberalism. Now, the reason I'm doing this segment is you're going to see this with this trial moving forward. Liberals decided up in New York to invent ridiculous fake crimes and try Donald Trump in court on a crime they never alleged. Now what's going to happen is in the future is you're going to see, by the way, it's not just going to be, Republicans, it's going to be other Democrats as well that are going to emulate this legal strategy going forward, because if it's okay for liberals, it's okay for everyone else, right? Liberals are victims of liberalism all the time. I want you to watch this clip to see what I mean, because you've got an important election coming up in November and you've got some choices to make. And if liberalism is so freaking effective, why the hell do liberals do everything they can to escape? Everyone down here lives in Florida. Florida is, folks, I've been down here almost 10 years. The place is like doubled in size since I got down here because everybody's trying to escape these liberal shitholes all around the country. If liberalism's so great, why does everybody want to get away? Because of stuff like this. I want you to watch Pete Buttigieg here, one of the dumbest members of the cabinet. No human being says less by saying more than this guy. He's asked a question about this Inflation Reduction Act thing and all this chips and all this other crap. How the government's supposed to be building all these EV chargers around the country. They built 8, or in Joe Biden math, 8. 8 of them. 8 chargers. You know why? Because there's a bunch of crazy liberal environmental regulations to even put a charger anywhere. So liberals are victims of liberalism because they can't even get out of the way of their own regulations. Listen to this guy try to talk his way through this abomination. Take a look.
The Federal Highway Administration says only 7 or 8 charging stations have been produced with a $7.5 billion investment that taxpayers made back in 2021. Why isn't that happening more quickly?
So the president's goal is to have 500,000 chargers up by the end of this decade. Now, in order to do a charger, it's more than just plunking a small device into the ground. There's utility work, and this is also really a new category of federal investment. But we've been working with each of the 50 states. Every one of them is getting formula dollars to do this work, engaging them in the first handful. Again, by 2030, 500,000 chargers. And the very first handful of chargers are now already being physically built.
Folks, these dipwads can't build a charger because of liberals' own environmental regulations about trying to construct a toothpick on land. You can't do anything. They're victims of their own bullshit. You understand that, right? This is why they do everything they can to escape liberal states they claim are their utopias when they're really dystopias. That's not it. This isn't the only one. I was sitting yesterday, probably TMI. I'm sitting there. I was after workout. I'm in the shower getting ready for the show. And I'm listening to this segment. I'm listening to Buttigieg. And I'm thinking, these guys are hilarious. They can't do anything right. They can't even fix their own regulatory spider web to build a freaking charger. And then they want to blame us. And I thought, didn't I read a story last night about California instituting a minimum wage that's now biting California in the ass? Yes, I did. Wall Street Journal. California's $25 an hour minimum wage is boomeranging. Governor Newsom now says the law he signed would add to the state's fiscal woes. I thought 25 an hour was great. Why not 50? Well, as it turns out, folks, progressives in Sacramento are now thinking twice about their burdening businesses. Quote, but lo and behold, they're having second thoughts about California's new $25 an hour minimum wage for healthcare workers. Why? Because its burdensome budget costs are threatening basically other liberal programs. Because a lot of the healthcare in California is run by the government, which has to pay workers $25 an hour. And now the government can't do other crappy, garbage, shitty government stuff because they're paying $25 an hour to healthcare people because government's got to inject itself in healthcare. Liberals, look at me in the camera. Why are you so freaking stupid? Why is it that everything you do sucks so bad, winds up kicking you in the nuts? Why is that? We don't have that problem. We institute tax cuts. We love it. People flow into Florida where there's no state income tax, to Texas where it's a healthy business environment. Why is that? People are flowing into Tennessee and Republican states where the business environment is generally okay outside of Nashville where they're messing with Morgan Wallen's bar. Why is that? If you watch yesterday's show, you know what I mean? Why? Why are you so stupid? And then I'm sitting in the sauna last night, melting a little bit, trying to get the dynorphins flowing because I hear it's pretty good for you. And I see this article pop, and I'm thinking, here we go again. Liberals kicking themselves in the nuts again. Apparently, Iran's making a brisk walk to a nuclear bomb, as noted by the Wall Street Journal. That sounds like a bad thing, folks. The Iranians will take this nuclear bomb, by the way, and they'll wind up giving it to one of its proxies so they can do what? Go start a global war in Israel or somewhere else and engage in genocide or drop some kind of nuclear explosive to set off a Middle East conflict. Apparently, Tehran's nuclear progress has been so alarming that it's worrying France and the UK that enthusiastically participated in the Obama negotiations with Iran. But the Biden administration is disguising the truth. Apparently, Iran is getting right there with a nuke in order to not provoke Iran by challenging the mullahs on their nuclear program. The White House doesn't want another crisis before the November election. Liberals getting bit in the ass by liberalism. You get it? The angle here is a little tougher to see, but make no mistake, it's there. Biden's weak. Liberals are weak. They don't have a strong national security posture. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not saying we should be involved in every global crisis, but I'm saying we should have a kick-ass military and we should not let you mess with us. Biden takes the opposite approach. He's weak. He lets the Iranians dog walk him everywhere because he's a chump and a wuss bag. So what happens? They know they can dog walk him. The dog walking process and weak Joe Biden is leading Tehran to continue with their nuclear progress. And now Biden's afraid that announcing how far they've gotten because of his weakness will jeopardize his own November election plans again, when liberalism gets in the way of liberalism. Folks, I warned you. This is a suicidal ideology. These people are going to get us killed. They're going to get our economy destroyed. They're going to get our healthcare system wrecked. Please, I'm begging you, you've got a decision in November. 10, 10, and 10. You've got from now till November to pull 10 people out to vote, send 10 emails, 10 social media posts, and make 10 phone calls. It's your job. It's your duty. Please, I'm begging you, we can't lose this election. Folks, liberals need crusades. If you understand anything about liberalism, you got to learn to follow the money. This stuff about climate change, the $25 an hour minimum wage, remember the fight for 15, it's now the fight for 25. The environmental garbage Pete Buttigieg is talking about, EVs. I need you to understand the value of crusades for liberals. The reason liberals do these foolish things that hurt liberals, other liberals, you're seeing it right now. The reason they do it is because of the money. Follow the money always. And you will figure out that behind every liberal crusade, the Green New Deal, the fight for 15, the JCPOA with Iran, behind every foolish liberal crusade, somebody is getting really, really rich. Someone is getting incredibly rich. I hope you understand that. Thomas Sowell explained this beautifully. This is what we're up against in this next election. Thomas Sowell explains beautifully the value of a liberal crusade. Check this out.
Again, intellectuals in society, there is a spontaneous demand from the larger society for the end products of engineering, medical, and scientific professions, but the demand for public intellectuals is largely manufactured by the public intellectuals themselves.
Yes.
Explain that. How do they manufacture demand for their own services?
Well, one thing is by making alarming predictions, offering solutions to our problems.
What do you make of global warming?
I think it's a classic example of the need for crusades. Now, many people are shocked by these emails. I'm not at all shocked by them. I read the original UN study years ago, and I was through the tulips and the way they phrase things and so forth, they couldn't confront that. And now we're finding out that they knew darn well they couldn't deal with all the evidence.
So it fits the pattern of a group of intellectuals, climate scientists who have a very narrow competency, suddenly proclaiming that there's a crisis, scaring the rest of us, thereby creating a demand for their services, not as climate scientists alone, but as a kind of high priestly caste that can tell us all how to live and save the entire planet, and in the meantime generate billions of dollars worth of government programs to fund their research initiatives. And so it's a racket.
Yes.
Sorry about that, folks. We're dealing with a lot right now. Donald Trump is talking right now. The jury's still deliberating, but he's exited the courtroom. He's talking about, he said Mother Teresa couldn't beat these charges. There hasn't been a verdict yet. I want to be clear on that. However, what he's saying is he's mentioning how Venezuela is sending all these people here and the crime statistics in Venezuela have gone down, that there's other things to worry about, that the trial's totally rigged. So we were listening. That's why the sound got clipped a little bit on that video. It's a really important video. Maybe I'll play it again tomorrow. The gist of it, I think you got, that the left engages in these crusades because there's money in it. Folks, there is nothing the, quote, experts on Twitter and elsewhere and in the NIH and during COVID and during climate change love more than for you to need their expert opinion so they can head off some apocalypse. Everyone's going to die because of COVID. The world's going to be underwater. Look at me and pay me and I'll figure it out. These people, there's money in these things. That's why they blame everything on climate change so they can go and get experts who are going to make money off the government. Why do you think these emails with Fauci, the NIH, and all these people trying to protect the funding to EcoHealth Alliance are there? Because this has always been about money. The crusades they engage in are about money. Somebody is making money on this thing all the time. The fight for 15 was meant to buttress unions that were pouring money into the Democrat cause. The Green New Deal, all of these experts that are going to make a fortune who are all liberals. They love this thing. That's why they blame everything on climate change. Here's Pete Buttigieg again. Turbulence, did you know airplane turbulence was climate change? And then he parrots the BS narrative that hurricanes are getting more violent and more aggressive hurricanes. Like it's a boxing match. Listen to this.
The reality is the effects of climate change are already upon us in terms of our transportation. We've seen that in the form of everything from heat waves that shouldn't statistically even be possible, threatening to melt the cables of transit systems in the Pacific Northwest, to hurricane seasons becoming more and more extreme, and indications that turbulence is up by about 15%.
Holy Moses, folks. Turbulence is up by 15%. Is this guy for real? And he's blaming it on climate change? Airplane? What's next? Is he going to blame like taking a boat to the Bahamas, the cresting waters on climate change too? Trump's done talking now, by the way. The jury is still deliberating, doing multiple things at the same time here. He says this is weaponization of the government at a level no one's seen. I have a feeling they're preparing for the worst. But like I said, ladies and gentlemen, whatever happens today, I think Donald Trump wins. By the way, why is this guy the right guy for the job? Back to what I was talking about before. He sees right through all this grift, the weaponization of government, this fight for 15, this climate Green New Deal scam. Donald Trump sees through it. That's why the left hates him. Why is Donald Trump in court today? Because of moments like this. Here he is with 60 Minutes. You know the Sir crest? Sir! Here he is on 60 Minutes calling out this climate scheme. And watch Leslie Stahl claim that the scientists are like all unanimous on this, when in fact they're not. She just doesn't want to hear it, and she can't even name anyone. Take a look.
I don't want to give trillions and trillions of dollars. I don't want to lose millions and millions of jobs. I don't want to be put at a disadvantage.
I wish you could go to Greenland. Watch these huge chunks of ice just falling into the ocean, raising the sea levels.
And you don't know whether or not that would have happened with or without man. You don't know.
Well, you're scientists at NOAA
we have
NASA.
scientists that disagree with that.
You know,
folks, they've been wrong about every one of these climate predictions for the last 50 years, man. There's a whole article about it in CEI. Wrong again, 50 years of failed eco-apocalyptic predictions. They have been wrong about it forever. Remember Dan Rather? Here's Dan Rather in 1982 talking about how Florida, where I live, was going to be 25% of it was going to be underwater. I live on the water. How the hell you think I'm broadcasting today if Florida's coast was going to be underwater? Take a look.
Concern about rising temperatures on planet Earth heated up a hearing here in Washington today. For years, scientists have theorized about the dangers of the so-called greenhouse effect, the warming of the Earth's atmosphere due to the burning of coal and oil. And in recent months, as David Culhane reports, research has uncovered facts to support that theory.
Many scientists claim that the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere has been rising over the past 100 years, that the great sheets of pack ice in Antarctica are melting at a much more rapid rate than previously. And finally, that the sea level has been rising with increasing swiftness over the past 40 years. If these scientists are correct, about 25% of Florida would be flooded, along with low-lying areas all over the world.
Obviously, folks, that was total BS because we're broadcasting to you right now from the coastline of Florida. Look at some of these other headlines. 1971, new ice age coming. New ice age. I thought we were all getting heated up. I thought the globe was going to be like some kind of sauna. We're all going to be cutting weight for a UFC match. That's the Washington Post. Here's another one. 1970, ice age by 2000, Boston Globe. These people have been wrong on everything, folks. This is one of Guy's favorites. The Maldives are going to be completely underwater. Last time I checked, they were still there. Canberra Times, 1988. They've been right on anything. Al Gore warns of ice-free Arctic by 2013. Ice is still there. All right, back to the trial a minute. I'm keeping my eyes on this. Again, Trump is done talking. There's really nothing going on right now. The jury is still deliberating. Folks, I want you to pay very close attention moving forward. The shift in messaging going forward, what happens today after this trial is going to be critical. We are working on a very, very big thing for tomorrow's show right now. But I can promise you this, that the days of Biden campaigning exclusively on actual kitchen table issues that he thinks matters, the economy, healthcare, education are over. They're going to make a dramatic shift right now. I see something happening, a bunch of press people walking out, but I don't know why that is right now. Andy McCarthy's currently commenting on this, but we'll see what happens. I don't know if they've got doubted. They've only been deliberating for a little bit. There's quite a few charges they have to go through. However, you're going to see this tactical shift in messaging. I promise you moving forward, where it's going to be all about the police state and jury intimidation at this point. That's what they tried yesterday. And it's going to be watch the pressure on the Supreme Court. I'm going to get out of the show a little early today because I want you guys to pay attention to the radio show coming up next and everything else. This is way too important. The show's not about me today. But just please, please pay very close attention to the shift and the pressure on the Supreme Court moving forward. Watch all of the stories you are going to see in liberal media outlets going forward about Sam Alito, Clarence Thomas. They are desperately going to try to get one of them to recuse so they've got a shot at upholding these verdicts, because Biden, if he's guilty, because Biden has a lot to worry about right now. He's got this book coming out from Hunter's baby's mama right during the DNC. They've got the Hunter Biden trial in September, and a very serious potential, if it were to happen, that some court, an appellate court or the Supreme Court, even if he's guilty today, or he's not guilty of anything, but you get the point, of yanking this thing out and humiliating Biden right before the election. Stay tuned. I'll be back in the radio show on this channel just a few minutes. We'll be covering all of this live. We'll be on top of this all day. Rumble.com/Bongino. Please download the app. It's going to be your best source for news. I won't leave anything behind. I'll see you back here in a little bit. And please don't miss the podcast tomorrow, folks. There's some big stuff happening. Rumble.com/Bongino, 11 a.m. Apple and Spotify if you want to listen. See you tomorrow.
You just heard The Dan Bongino Show.